Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chiranjit Mishra and today I'm going to present the news items of News Today, May 23rd. There are 5 main news, 8 quick updates and 1 place in the news, which is Cyprus. Let's go through the headlines first. The first main news is about mental disorders, how the percentage of people who are suffering from one or more type of mental disorders has increased over 3 decades. The second is Saudi Arabia joins the International Big Cat Alliance, although the summit has been postponed due to this fear of Ebola, which is spreading fast in Africa, but Saudi Arabia has joined as a 26th member. Third is the selling of dollar to defend rupee by the RBI, which has been an ongoing issue due to the Middle East crisis and India's rising import bills. Fourth main news, 100 crore health records under ABHA, that is under digital Ayushman Bharat program. The number of health accounts has crossed 100 crore. The last main news is about Smart Border Project, which is an initiative which will be implemented by the Ministry of Home Affairs to protect India's border with Pakistan and Bangladesh. Now quick updates. First update is about space hubs approved in Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. Second, Chandrayaan 3 gets a very prestigious award. The award has been given by an American body of aeronautics and astronautics. Then pregabalin, a drug which is used to cure neuropathic pain, it has been seen that it is being misused for because it has some psychotropic effect. So it has been brought under Schedule H1. We'll get to know what is that. Then RBI has transferred surplus to the central government, which is basically its earnings minus its operating cost. So the surplus, whatever remained, has been given to the central government. Next, egocentric AI data concerns. This is a very concerning piece of news. You can see widely covered that many textile workers, they have to wear some camera and other sensors so that their hand movements can be noted down and data can be collected, which many people believe is the first step towards automation of textile industry. That means they're axing their own feet. Next, India blocks WTO panel. The panel was initiated by China and it has some complaints about how India deals with imports and how Chinese imports are going to be affected, but India has blocked it. Next, AIIB bank, which is a China-led bank, it has announced $10 billion fund. We'll get to know what is AIIB. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Last is parametric insurance. And as I said in the beginning, the place in the news is Cyprus. Now let's start with the first main news. Okay, I hope you all can see the screen. Mental disorders. So mental disorders means, because a healthy body, normally it is believed, a body is healthy when it houses a healthy mind. And health is a comprehensive concept. It does not just refer to the well-being of your limbs, your physical being, but also your mental state. Now, as per a report, between 1990 and 2023, the number of people suffering from mental disorders, starting from anxiety, depression, and other autism, it has risen by 95%. That means close to getting doubled. Okay, let's see what are the most prevalent forms of disorders like anxiety and depression. And there is also a gender-based categorization of different types of mental disorders. For example, females or women are more prone to getting affected by depression and anxiety. At the same time, males suffer from attention deficit disorder. Okay, and what are the causes behind the same? Let's quickly go through the report. It's good for your mains GS paper 2. It comes under social justice, social aspects of governance, which covers health. Okay. So study finds 95% increase. That means if there were 100 people affected, now there are 195 people affected. 200 is the amount. Had it been doubled, that means it's close to double. 95% people affected, and the two culprits are anxiety and depression. Okay, anxiety and depression. Mental cases increased by 95%, and the highest burden, as you can see, the working age group, it also consists of students. Okay, 15 to 59. Gender-wise impact, women disproportionately affected globally because of their domestic burden and the same time financial burden, which they have to share with the men. Anxiety disorders higher in women, depression is also higher. So anxiety and depression primarily affects women. Okay? You can add this point in your essay paper if the topic is based on social issues. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Attention deficit AD, hyperactive disorder. It affects men mostly. ADHD. Okay. It conducts disorder higher in males. Autism also common in males. Autism, as you have seen, many famous people are autistic. Autism does not affect your mathematical bent. It affects your social behavior. That means your interpersonal skills, they experience some sort of, they are compromised. You find it difficult to communicate using bodily clues, non-verbal communication. Okay, these are the aspects of mental behavior, of mental health, which are affected when somebody is autistic. And what are the drivers? As I said in the beginning, economic, social, and climate disasters, poverty, unemployment. Okay, it's very natural. Career-oriented. For example, see, now the NEET paper has leaked, which is very unfortunate. Many people have committed suicides. Students also have to bear the burden. Climate and distress disasters. Okay, sometimes seasonal problems are also there. In summer, you have seen, especially in a hot country, tropical country like India, the mental state is disturbed in a manner. In winter, it's relatively at ease. So, and apart from that, disaster-related displacement can also be a stressful activity. Okay, so that's it. Nothing more about the news. You just need to remember the figures. 95% increase, age group, and what are the types of mental disorders that affect males and females. Saudi Arabia joins International Big Cat Alliance. Big cats in this context are 7 big cat species. Okay, and before that, let's know the context. This is the context, of course, but the bigger context is that this growing problem or challenge of Ebola, which is spreading again in Africa. So many countries from Africa are also going to come. That's why it has been postponed. It was scheduled to be held in June 1-2, but now it has been postponed, cancelled. So Saudi Arabia has joined as a 26th member, and this initiative was out of India. 3 years ago, India introduced this concept called International Big Cat Alliance. That means all those countries which have one or other form of big cats, lion, tiger, leopard, jaguar, puma, snow leopard, cheetah. Okay, so what are the species covered? We'll get to know. Number 1 is lion, tiger, and India is the only country in the world which has both natural habitats for lion and tiger. Leopard, India has. Cheetah, we have introduced from different countries in Africa. Then you have snow leopard, India has. India is biologically or very diverse. Okay, so these 5, and then you have puma or mountain lion. Okay, these are found in Americas, and then you have jaguar. Now see, jaguar is very close to leopard, similar in looks, but its biting force is very it's much higher and much more intense than that of a leopard. Okay, so these are the 7 species of big cats covered under the alliance. And the aim of this initiative, of course, is to make sure that all the 7 different cat species, they're preserved, they're conserved, their habitats are not destroyed, and whatever human-animal conflict is taking place, it is in control. Okay. The headquarter of this body, International Big Cat Alliance, is in Delhi. Let's quickly go through. You know the context. Saudi Arabia has joined as a 26th member. It is India's brainchild. Okay, and it was released or launched. It was launched in 2023, which marked the 50th year of Project Tiger. To celebrate that, to observe that, this initiative was launched. Project Tiger was launched in 1973. Okay. We also have Project Lion, which was introduced in 2020. But to mark the 50th anniversary, this initiative was launched. It conserves 7 major big cats: tiger, lion, leopard, cheetah, snow leopard, jaguar, puma. Okay. There is another species which is present in the northeastern states. It's called clouded leopard. It is not covered. Remember, clouded leopard is not covered under these 7 major big cat species. Okay. Maybe it is not believed to be a big cat also. Before Saudi joined, there were 25 members. And of the 7 species, tiger is the only endangered species. Many of them are vulnerable, but tiger is endangered. Like for example, lion is vulnerable, snow leopard is vulnerable. But tiger, Panthera tigris, is the only endangered species. Objectives, conserve 7 big cats. UPSC has asked questions. Let's quickly go through. In 2024, a question related to big cats, not on this body or initiative, was asked. Very interesting question on the behavioral aspects of big cat species. For example, lions do not have a particular breeding season. Unlike most other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. This is very famous. Okay, cheetahs have a sound very close to, it's like meowing, just like cat, or slightly high pitched, not roar. Roar is very low pitched. Low pitch means very heavy. High pitch means very shrill. Okay. This is correct. So 2 has to be correct. 3 has been eliminated. Because it does not have 2. Unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Most of the big cats, they do scent marking. They mark their territory by using their urine or fecal material. Okay. Of course, we human beings treat them as excreta, but for them, urine and stool or poop, they serve different purposes. Big cats can mark their territory using their own urine, okay, so that they don't forget their territory. And other individuals will also get to know, okay, it has been marked by somebody else, I should not encroach upon it, otherwise there will be a clash. So 3 is correct, 3 has to be correct. So option A does not have 3, it is wrong. Now we have 3 is correct, sorry, 3 is not correct, 3 is not correct, 3 is not correct. That means this is eliminated, and this is eliminated. We have only one option, 1 and 2. Option A is the correct answer. Because lions, tigers, leopards, they all do territorial marking. Okay, and lions do not have a particular breeding season, that is also correct, but the option elimination technique was not dependent upon 1. Once you get to know 3 is incorrect, you can easily eliminate. RBI steps of record dollar sales. See, we have covered it repeatedly. Middle East crisis, okay, imports are rising. How do you import? If you import goods and services, you need, mostly for oil import, we need dollars, and this concept is called petrodollar. The system has been so constructed that oil companies in the Middle East, they only accept dollar. It has been based on an agreement between Saudi and United States 50 years ago, when the gold mark was removed. Okay, so now petrodollars. Because we need dollars to buy oil and the prices are rising, demand for dollar rises. And as you know, dollar is treated as a commodity in the commodity market, okay, dollar. And just like any commodity, if it's demand, the demand for that commodity rises, its price also rises. That is why we need more and more dollar, and rupee is weakening. Okay, so that is hurting our exchequer. We need to pay more rupees for $1. Okay, now a year ago it was close to 85, 86. Now it has breached the 95 mark, and it is moving towards 100. That is why RBI wants to flood the market with more dollars. When the supply will increase, because once RBI starts to flood the market with dollars, the supply will also increase. And when supply also rises, as you know, you have seen the demand supply curve. When demand rises and supply is low, price rises. When demand is high and supply rises, the price comes down. It stabilizes below. Stabilizes. What stabilizes? The exchange rate. Just to stop this process of this gradual weakening of rupee, RBI did this. इतना market में dollar भर दो कि the price of a dollar will come down, and it has also come down by 0.5 points. Not a very high margin, but by 0.5 points. Now, what are the demerits of this step? India maintains forex, you know that. The RBI maintains for India forex, and it consists of all sorts of currencies, primarily dollar. Primarily dollar. And then euro, then foreign government securities, okay, and then gold. Dollar forms the highest component of forex. Now, because RBI has sold nearly $50 billion, there is a depletion in India's forex. India's forex reached an all-time high of $730 billion a year ago. Now it is, I think, close to 680 or something, okay, as of May. Now, because if the RBI keeps selling dollar more and more, the forex will come down. So say, are you able to see what are the various economic metrics that are connected here? First is forex, okay, import bill. Import bill is connected with current account deficit. We covered that earlier. What amount of dollar comes in and what amount of dollar goes out. If India receives FDI, foreign portfolio investment, we'll have more dollars. That way, demand for dollar, even if it rises, we'll have something to cushion. Okay. Now, this is import bill is related to forex. How? Exchange rate. Foreign exchange rate, forex rate. And to maintain it, RBI is selling dollars. So that is affecting the foreign exchange reserve. It's called forex reserve. Okay. So many concepts. So this basically comes under international economics or international finance, and we cover it under BOP. Okay, balance of payment. So I hope you understood why RBI took that step. RBI sold nearly $53.1 billion in fiscal year 2025-26, ending March 31st. It is planning to sell even more. Some experts are advising against it. Don't focus on this foreign exchange rate. Focus on creating job and employment, okay, and try to stabilize prices. It's okay even if the rupee weakens and dollar rises, okay. But RBI is taking the step because some people are also approving of this particular step. In fiscal year 2025, that means till March 2025, we had sold 41. Now we're selling 52. So you can see nearly $12 billion worth more dollars we have sold the last fiscal year. About currency depreciation, let's focus on that. Why is it depreciating? Currency value declines against foreign currencies. If the demand for the foreign currency rises, the domestic currency falls, it weakens. Occurs through market-driven movements. As I said, dollar is sold in the open market, just like any commodity, just like a stock. Company stock reflects weaker domestic currency value. Okay. Reasons kya hua? It's very known. Hormuz crisis, because of that, the crude oil export has been affected. FPI outflows, this is another reason. People don't have faith in the Indian market, or maybe they're seeing some more favorable markets to invest in. Those companies who had put their dollars, India ke andar, those companies who had put their dollars, this is coming into India, they're taking back their money, it's going away. That means demand for dollar rises. Okay. FPI, as you know, is less stable than FDI. FDI cannot be easily taken away. But FPI or FII, unlike FDI, can be easily taken out. The investors can easily pull back their money. Okay. Again, gold import bill. As you know, India has a huge gold market. We love gold jewelries. But India doesn't produce gold, enough gold. We have to import most of our gold from countries like Switzerland, okay, South Africa. And then this liberalized remittance scheme. What is that remittance, you know? You must be knowing only one aspect of remittance, that India receives a lot of remittance. But India also sends money abroad. Many Indians staying here, they give money to their relatives in dollars. Or many people working here in India, foreign employees, they also give uh, money to their families in dollar or other currencies. And the common exchange rate is dollar. So because of these, demand for dollar rises. Okay, ultimately it's the demand for dollar. Okay, what are the impacts? Negative impacts, of course, imported inflation increases prices. You have to pay more rupee for $1. Crude oil imports become costlier. Edible oil, India is also a net importer of edible oil. Palm oil from Indonesia, Malaysia, okay. External debt servicing costs rise. For example, if you had taken some loan, say $100, 2 years ago, you're supposed to pay 100 into 20, 100 into 80, 8,000 rupees. Okay? Now the loan amount is still there. You're yet to repay. But now you'll pay in same $100 but 95. $1 is 95 rupees. So 9,500 rupees you have to give. See? 1,500 rupees costlier. Positive impacts. Positive impacts, we often say if imports are hurt because of a strengthening dollar, exports are also benefited. But it's not that easy to increase the amount of exports. Some people who are already exporting, they will be at gain. But India does not have a big export market like China. And if some people think, okay, this is the right time to set up an export company and I will earn. It does not, it takes time. It does not happen that fast. Okay, imports are immediately hurt, but exporters can benefit. If they're already in the export business, they will benefit. If they're planning to set up exporting companies, that will take time. Okay. That will take time. Remittance value increases domestically. Yes, those people are already sending money to India from the US, Canada, UAE, or any other country. We will be at gain. Why? Because dollar is coming in and RBI will have more dollar through scheduled commercial banks. They will exchange rupee for dollar. जब बाहर से कोई डॉलर हमारे पास भेजता है, we are not going to directly use the dollars. We'll give the dollars to the banks and we'll get rupees. And the banks will transact with the RBI for money. Okay. Next main news is Ayushman Bharat. And there's nothing so special, but a question has been asked about Ayushman Digital Bharat Mission. As you know, India's healthcare has many challenges, and for those many challenges, we have to take many solutions. But one important solution has been digitization or digitalization. Digitalization. That means maintaining databases to store data, health related data. Okay, that is the aim of this mission. And Ayushman Bharat Health Accounts, ABHA, is one such initiative under Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Okay, every patient or every hospital goer or clinic goer will have to get a number which is called ABHA number, an account number just like Aadhaar, and it is a 14-digit number. Aadhaar is a 12-digit number, this is a 14-digit number. So if you're conducting diagnostic tests, if you're receiving prescriptions, everything will be digitally stored under that number. So that, for example, if you're in Delhi and you visited a hospital, your entire medical history has been recorded in that hospital. Suppose you move to another city and you also visit another hospital in that new city. All your digitally recorded data can be accessed by the other hospital, because now it is in a database, it is in the cloud in a way, okay? Because every cloud system is backed by a decentralized database. So the other hospital will also get to know, but with your permission. But see, it's so easy. You don't have to tell the new doctor about your ailments, your diagnostics, or the tests that you had to conduct. Okay. Now the new hospital will also get to know about your medical history. It is possible because of ABHA. So it's a good step in the direction of digitalization of healthcare in India. Okay, so let's take a look at a few features of Abha and Ayushman Bharat digital mission. What all the government wants to achieve. You already know Ayushman Bharat Jan Arogya Yojana. Under that scheme, the government gives 5 lakh rupees per family per year to downtrodden and financially compromised families, okay, financially struggling families. But this is another aspect of Ayushman Bharat mission. It's called Ayushman Bharat digital mission. Okay, and Abha is one component of Ayushman Bharat digital mission, ABDM. Okay, it is a 14-digit number. It creates digital health identity, but your identity cannot be used. I mean, the data related to your Abha account cannot be used without your permission. So there is data privacy. Okay, only with your permission, the new hospital, the new doctors can access data. Consent-based healthcare record system. Consent-based. Consent-based means it supports digital privacy. Okay, the best part is that. Links records across healthcare institutions. No matter where you move, the database is decentralized. You don't have to carry it with it. Once you have an Abha account, your medical history can be easily accessed or seen by anybody in this country, in any part of the country. Okay, but they need permission to access your account. Ayushman Bharat mission, it was launched in 2021. Okay, Ministry of Health launched the scheme, and it's a central sector scheme. It is implemented by National NHA, National Health Authority. Okay. Digital components of Ayushman Bharat digital mission. Now from Abha we are moving to its mother initiative, that is Ayushman Bharat digital mission. Abha iska ek component hai. It has other components also. National Health Facility Registry. That means just like Practo, you have a private app called Practo. This is just like government Practo. Wherever there are clinics, hospitals, doctors, you'll get to know everything. Healthcare Professionals Registry. Okay, this is related to doctors and medical professionals. This is like healthcare facility database. कहाँ पे क्या institutions हैं? Unified Health Interface. Open digital healthcare platform enables teleconsultation service. Okay, even if there is a patient located or situated in a village, and in that particular village they don't have good hospitals, still patients can have video conference or video call. Through a video call, they can connect with good doctors from different cities of this country. Okay. Health Information Exchange. This is nothing just like transmitting health related information, just like Abha. Abha is one component of Health Information Exchange. Okay. That means passing information from one point to another point. Significance of digital health ecosystem, efficient and faster service delivery, financial protection, public health strengthening. And these are very generic points. A question was asked again in 2022 with reference to Ayushman Bharat digital mission. Consider the following statements. Private and public hospitals must adopt it. Look at just be very careful about every single word used in the sentence. Must adopt it, must. That means mandatory. There are very few schemes in this country which are mandatory. Most of them are not mandatory, it's voluntary. Okay, so एक को पढ़ते ही लग रहा है गलत है. Even if you don't know anything about ABDM, you can easily say कि one is not correct, and one को हटाते you get your answer. This is how you use elimination technique. And sometimes you say you just need to have faith in yourself and good observation. Whenever UPSC has asked, whenever in the past, most of the must statements have been incorrect. This is how you learn from experience. That is why previous year questions are very important. Without having any knowledge about this particular initiative, you can reach the correct answer. फिर भी let's discuss. B is the correct answer, okay? 3 only. As it aims to achieve universal health coverage, every citizen of India should be part of it. Again, ये भी mandatory झलका रहे. Should, must, have to, ये सब गलत है. 1 2 गलत हो गया. It has seamless portability across the country. ये स्टेटमेंट में कोई दम ही नहीं है. ये देख के लग रहा है it has to be correct. इसमें क्या है? There is nothing to check in this statement. Smart border project, although it is border, the ministry that must or that may come to your mind is Ministry of Defense. But this is actually Ministry of Home Affairs, okay, not Ministry of Defense. As you know, India has a very long landline border which is close to 15,000 kilometers. We are not including the maritime border. Maritime border is close to 11,000 kilometers. Earlier it was 7,500, but as per new satellite data we got to know the border is even longer. So we are focusing on this 15,000 kilometers that India has with, this part. The land border, this part, okay, northeast and everything. This border we are talking about. As you know, this is Himalayas, difficult terrains. There is Thar desert here. There are jungles, forests here in the northeast. That means our borders are one big challenge to maintain and manage. And many type of negative or illegal things take place across the borders. Infiltration, illegal migration. Many people, because India is one of the prosperous countries in this particular region, if not in the world. So many people come here for employment or because of other crises. There are many disturbances in Bangladesh, Myanmar. People try to secretly enter India. Then there is this particular issue of counterfeit notes. Across the border of Pakistan, drugs. They use drones to transfer drugs. Okay. Then weapons. These are the challenges. So that's why we need to tighten our border, especially with regard to Pakistan and Bangladesh. So this smart border project, as you know, there is a regime change in West Bengal, and the state government has also been very cooperative with the national agencies. Why? Because the chicken neck corridor has strategic importance for India. Okay, this part. So Bangladesh and Pakistan, with respect to these two countries, we are focusing on smart border project. Kuch nahi karna hai, because the borders are very long, we cannot have enough manpower to maintain or manage or conduct surveillance along the borders. We need technology, okay? And the technology is drone, radar, CCTV camera, everything. So this initiative is by the Ministry of Home Affairs, okay? It is about to be introduced. We will use drones, modern radar system, and advanced camera. Okay, so to keep a close watch on what is happening across the border. Are people trying to secretly enter? Are there possibilities of transfer of weapons, illegal weapons, drugs, counterfeit notes? To keep everything in check, we have initiated this, launched this initiative. Now, border length is 15,000 kilometers, land border, and the longest border shared by any country with India is Bangladesh. Remember, not China, not Pakistan. And it is 4,096 kilometers. Followed by China, then Pakistan. What are the illegal activities? Illegal border infiltration, movement of people, organized crimes, that means crime syndicates. There are many nodes. Nodes means many persons, many teams involved in committing crimes. Okay, because these are not like small thievery. यहाँ पे छोटे चोरों की बात हम नहीं कर रहे. Okay, if currency notes or counterfeit notes are crossing the border, that means they must be using a lot of logistics. Counterfeit currency, weapon trafficking network, everything. And there is also human trafficking. Okay, many women, many children are kidnapped in India and they're sold outside. We need to stop that as well. और बड़ा सबसे challenge क्या? Terrain difficulty, which I explained in the beginning. You have the Himalayas, the desert, and the jungles. Jungles means tropical forests. Initiatives are anti-drones, comprehensive integrated border management system. Remember this abbreviation, CIBMS, comprehensive integrated border management systems. Smart fencing. Smart fencing, what is smart fencing? You're going to use normal barbed wire, no doubt, okay? But you can use sensors. If somebody gets close to it, easily there will be a signal that will, another team which is called the quick response team, QRT, quick response team. It will get to know and will take immediate action. Okay. So that's it. The place in the news today is Cyprus, capital is Nicosia, Nicosia, sorry, not Nicosia, Nicosia. And this is a very close map. It gives a very broad view of the country. This is how Cyprus looks along with its neighbors. As you can see, it's an island country. And why is it in the news? Because India has elevated its partnership with Cyprus to strategic partnership. And you know why it is important? Because Turkey has always shown inclination towards Pakistan and antipathy towards India. Although India has helped Turkey several times, during the earthquake also we sent so many aids and helps. So Turkey has always taken an anti-India stance. So as you know, as per that Mandala theory of Kautilya, दुश्मन का दुश्मन दोस्त होता है. Cyprus is although it's an island nation, it's very close to Turkey. It has some issue, maritime issue and other issue with Turkey. That is why it is our friend, or we're trying to treat it as our friend. And Cyprus के बारे में थोड़ा जान लेते हैं. There is no land border. It's one of its official languages is actually Turkish, and the other is Greek, because it's very close to Greece also. Okay, and it is a part of European Union. Please remember, Cyprus is a part of European Union. Okay? Mediterranean island, Eastern Mediterranean. That part is called Western Mediterranean. Highest peak is Mount Olympus, but there is a more famous Mount Olympus in Greece. This is not that Mount Olympus. Okay, this is the second Mount Olympus, which is found in Cyprus. Official languages there are two, Greek and Turkish, owing to its proximity to the countries of Greece and Turkey. GDP is close to $45 billion. You don't need to memorize this. Okay, and this is the third largest island in the Mediterranean. Sicily and Sardinia both are part of Italy. These are the first two biggest islands. Cyprus is the third largest island in the Mediterranean Ocean. Now let's take a look at the quick updates. Two new space manufacturing hubs. They don't have any names, but these space manufacturing hubs will focus on manufacturing rockets, the launch vehicles, okay? And whatever the rockets carry, which has to be put in the orbit, is called payload. It's called payload. It can be a satellite, it can be any other object, okay? Or maybe different parts of, say, International Space Station, because everything is carried using rockets. So these two hubs are going to do that, and they have been set up in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, okay? Approved by the Department of Space. And Department of Space does not belong to or come under any ministry. It is directly under the Prime Minister of India, just like Department of Atomic Energy. Okay, because they are very critical departments, and they directly report to the PMO. Supports rocket manufacturing ecosystem. Common technical facilities means we are going to use enabling ambience or environment, because both these hubs, they're going to use the same end-to-end parts of the space mission, creating rockets, creating other logistics items and the payloads. Okay, that is why common technical facilities. That means two similar hubs but into different states. Nothing important, but yeah, India's space achievement पे अगर question आता mains में कि India's space mission has gained global prominence. Critically examine or elucidate. You can cite this as an example. Not just its mission, but the Chandrayaan mission has been appreciated globally also. Okay, because it is the first mission which was successful in soft landing a spacecraft on Moon's South Pole or close to Moon's South Pole. That is why this Goddard Astronautics Award has been given by American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Aero means related to normal flights, atmospheric navigation, and this is space navigation. Okay, first successful spacecraft to soft land near the moon's south pole. Nothing else to memorize or remember. Pregabalin is a drug. A drug means it's a helpful drug for those patients who have neuropathic pain, nerve related pains, and nerve related disorder, just like epilepsy, okay, nerve pain, okay, neuropathic pains. This is like it may affect any part of your body, wherever you have nerve endings. This is not like muscle soreness. This is because your nervous system is telling you that your body has pain. Even if there is no pain-like condition, this false alarms, but you always respond to whatever instructions you get from your nervous system. To cure such nerve pain, this drug is administered. It's called pregabalin. But because this drug has some side effects, which is like, mood altering ability, it can be used as a psychotropic drug, a narcotic. Okay, that is why only under prescription and strict prescription. For every important drug you need a prescription. That is why we have Schedule H. As per Schedule H, whether it is antibiotics or anti-diabetic drug, you need a prescription. This is Schedule H1, even more critical. Whenever somebody approaches a chemist for this medicine, not just prescription is required, you need to note down the details of the patients also and keep or maintain a separate register. That is the importance of Schedule H1. So pregabalin has been put under Schedule H1. Whoever needs a drug will carry a prescription and will have to give the details to the chemist or the pharmacist, whoever runs the pharmacy. Rising misuse concerns observed. Okay, as you know, this has the potential to be misused for recreation. It can be used as a recreational drug. Okay, that's why pharmacies must maintain records. Surplus transfer from the RBI to the center. Now you may think, is RBI a profit-making agency? It has gained some surplus. Although it is not a profit-making body, RBI is not a profit-making body. It is not. But by virtue of the responsibilities it has to discharge, it indirectly makes certain profit. And what is profit? Or surplus. That is why we don't call it profit. It is called, in this case, surplus. And what is this surplus? Surplus is equal to earnings. Here we are not going to use earnings. It will be called revenue. Revenue minus operating cost. See, RBI karta kya hai? RBI is actually the central bank. Its primary role is maintaining or discharging monetary responsibilities, or you can say currency supply, maintaining inflation, and it can also act as a lender to the central government and state governments. It can also engage in open market operations. Okay, that is also a step it has to do to maintain the price level. But in open market operation, it can also buy and sell government securities. That way it can profit. RBI तभी market में buy करता है जब there is मंदी पड़ता है, because when it buys something it gives money for that. So the government securities are purchased at a low rate and sold at a higher rate. There is some interest earned by the RBI. Similarly, forex, dollar खरीदता है बेचता है. As in the other news, you just got to know that RBI is selling dollars. That way also RBI making profit. You know how? How RBI is making profit? It purchased dollars when the exchange rate was very low. 80 रुपए देके एक डॉलर खरीदा. अभी देखो 95 जब है तब बेचा. Per dollar 15 rupees profit. It depends upon the cost price. That way also it earns. Now RBI has many staff members. Okay, clerks, security guards, normal managers. Okay, so they are all paid, and that is called the operating cost. And apart from operating cost, it also maintain a contingency fund. Apart from that, operating cost and contingency fund, whatever money is there, it has to transfer the central government. That is called surplus. And look at the surplus amount, 2.86 lakh crore. इसको अगर आप बिलियन में करोगे अभी अगर बिलियन में आप करोगे, इसका वैल्यू कितना हो जाएगा पता है? It will be close to $30 billion. This much will go to the central government, and the central government will use it for all sorts of expenditure. Revenue ho ya capital ho, okay? The central government's fiscal burden will come down. It will get some money from the RBI, okay? And everything is based on economic capital framework. As per this framework, the RBI has to keep some money for contingencies, take care of its operating costs, and then as per this framework, अगर ये क्वेश्चन में आता है, it is related to RBI's fund management. How much funds which have developed through its earnings have to be kept with it, and what amount of the funds has to be transferred to the central government. Everything comes under this economic capital framework. And this action is going to reduce fiscal pressure for the government, because the government needs money to spend, revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. A question was asked, very controversial question. Last year only, the UPSC has given an answer with which many of us don't agree. Which of the following are the sources of income for the RBI? Buying and selling government bonds, we said that, discussed that. Buying and selling foreign currency, discussed. Both the news you have covered, okay. Pension fund management, no. That is PFRDA, pension fund regulatory, and that also, it's the highest authority which looks into that, but RBI has no role in that. Lending to private companies, no. So 3 or 4 not correct. We have eliminated this, we have eliminated this. We are left with A and D. Printing and distributing currency notes, it is in a way a source of income for the RBI. Because see, whenever RBI prints 100 rupees note or 200 rupees note, 100 or 200 is not the real value of that kagaz ka tukda, of that paper piece. It is the face value. To make that 100 rupees, maybe RBI spends 50 rupees. This is very, very thought-provoking. To make money, you have to spend money. But again, the cycle, let's ignore the cycle. The amount or the cost, let's say there were already existing notes, okay, and they had face value, and RBI is going to print new money. So 100 rupees को बनाने के लिए 50 rupees खर्चा हुआ. For example, whatever paper material was used, the ink and everything. The remaining is RBI's profit. That is also RBI's income. And this concept is called seigneurage. SEIGNORAGE, seigneurage. It's a French term. Okay. So this should have been the correct answer, but RBI, UPSC has said only option A is the correct answer. That means only 1 and 2. This has been marked incorrect. But you understood the concept. We have to respect and we have to consider what the UPSC says. Egocentric data, it's a very piece of news, very concerning, because this marks the beginning of machines replacing men. The biggest fear that human beings had as regards artificial intelligence. Already large language models have diminished the role or the roles of human beings, human intervention. Some people used to think that at least the factories or the industries in which physical labor is required, those factories are safe for human beings. But this concept of collecting egocentric data to make robots capable. Egocentric means, ego means I, मैं. And I-centric means I am giving data actively. How can I give data? Just put some sensors here. And I am walking and I am moving my hand, everything. Lots and lots of data will be collected. The sensors will record each and every muscle movement, temperature, either udhar, whatever, up and down. And those data will be collected and monitored. And then those data will be fed into a machine. Not just me. That of lakhs of people. But this way of collecting data by attaching sensors to uh, sensors on the body of an individual or a group of people, it's called egocentric data. So in Tamil Nadu, in a particular factory, many people had to wear specs and put some wearable devices here. And they were using sewing machines. So they were working in a textile factory. Their hand movements, their capabilities, everything were being recorded. Okay, so that at a later stage, robots can learn from the human behavior. Just like human beings, they'll also become efficient and even more capable. Okay, so egocentric data captures first person view. It's not like collecting data from some database already stored, or we call it web scraping. You know, web scraping is a way to collect data. You'll send a request to a website, please give us some data using coding language, okay? And you'll get data that way. Or maybe you can directly get data from your database servers. No, this is another way, actively giving data. It is called egocentric data, used for training AI robots. Wearable collect movable data. It can be specs, what you're looking, how you're observing, okay? Or if I can put electrodes here in your brain, it can also read your brain signals. Although we're not using that, but I don't think the day is far when companies will be trying to gather data by putting devices or electrodes around your head. Workers raise privacy concerns, continuous surveillance questioned. Workers are saying, why do I have to wear this all the time? Only when they have to go to the loo or the washroom, they have to remove it. Otherwise, everything that they do will be recorded, collected, and be used to train robots. India blocked China's request. This happened at the WTO. China has some complaints against India because China is an exporting country. And it is good at exporting very cheap and inexpensive products. That is why most countries are afraid of China. Their domestic production will be affected. Now what India is doing, India is running a very famous scheme called production-linked incentives to boost India's manufacturing sector. You manufacture, we'll give you subsidies depending upon how capably you are able to manufacture. This is the whole idea of production-linked incentive scheme. And it is working well. That is why China is complaining. This is against fair play. As per the WTO, we have to maintain fair play. We cannot give unnecessary subsidies. Okay? Unnecessary subsidies nahi de sakte. And also India imposed some import duty on Chinese materials so that Chinese materials don't flood in the Indian market. That is why China complained. India has blocked that complaint. But India does not have many options. In the first attempt, you can block it, so that you can buy some time and do some dialogues or have some dialogues with China. This is the reason why we had to impose duty. Okay, but the second time, if China tries to send a request to create a panel, India cannot block it. This is the first and the only option. That is related to India's solar and IT industry. As you know, most of the chips and the equipments, they are borrowed or exported. China exports and India imports. But India is already working on its domestic capability. That is why it's trying to stop the Chinese goods and China is angry. That is the whole story. First request can be blocked, domestic concerns involved. And WTO, as you know, it is one of the most important trade regulating body, the most important trade regulating body, and India has been a founding member, but China joined very late. Okay. Next, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. The context is some announcement of loan, but nobody is going to ask you about this loan. You just need to know where is the bank located and why there was a need to come up with the idea of this bank. Because again, it is China related. China doesn't have faith in World Bank, IMF, Asian Development Bank. Because China and many countries believe that these institutions are dominated by the West. US and European countries. They make the rules, they set the terms and conditions. So why to dance to their tunes? That is why in 2016, AIIB came into being in Beijing, China's capital, and India is also its member. Now there are 110 plus members. and China is the largest shareholder. It gives loans to countries, state governments, private companies for infrastructure development. Okay. The last main news is parametric insurance is a very interesting concept. What is the concept of insurance? It's like liability transferring. Because you think something bad can happen to you, you want monetary protection. And there is a company which says, okay, if something happens, we are there to help you. And how does the company benefit? By charging you premium. You pay the premium whenever something unfortunate happens. For example, there's a company, and if the company the factory catches fire, you have fire insurance. And what is the fire insurance concept? You pay premiums per year. If nothing happens, your money is gone. Again, you pay the premium, nothing happens. But once, maybe you have to keep paying the premiums to keep your insurance valid. Okay. Now, once if you, God forbid, nobody is affected or harmed, if your factory catches fire and you lose your factory, the goods, everything is destroyed. You ask the company, please give me my money now because I've lost everything. Then the insurance wala will come, make an assessment of how much damage has been done, the extent of damage. Okay, the company will make an assessment of that. On the basis of that, the company will pay you the amount. It's a payout. ये क्या होता है? This is the traditional insurance. Whatever we discuss is traditional insurance. This is parametric insurance or index-based insurance. यहाँ पे क्या होता है? You don't have to make an assessment of how much damage has been done. Suppose I'm a person, I'm walking on road, and I fall to the ground because I'm feeling dizzy because of the extreme heat. The moment the company will not come to check my health and heartbeat and all the vital signs. The moment the company gets to know that the temperature of the city has gone above 45 degrees Celsius, this is the index. And that is why parametric insurance is called index-based insurance. The moment it goes up, it will pay you the amount. No assessment done, whether you are dead, semi-dead or ill. Only depending upon the geographical factor. Now you may think then because climate is changing, we'll have very hot days ahead. That is why the premiums are also going to be very high as compared to traditional insurance, because there is a fair chance the company will be paying the amount to you. That means the company needs, that way the company will be like, ultimately it will have to shut down. It will charge you higher premiums. Okay, that is it. That is why in parametric insurance the premium rates are very high. Okay, not just temperature. If a village is affected by rainfall, heavy rainfall, the moment it sees the rainfall is above 100 centimeter or whatever the benchmark is set, 50 centimeter, you'll get the money. They won't come to your house to see the extent of damage. Okay, that is called parametric insurance because it is connected to one parameter or index. Heat threshold activates payout. The recent context is the extreme heat because many laborers are not intending to work because of this extreme seasonal events, and the companies are also suffering losses. They want more payment. If they are financially equipped, they can take some protection measures. That is why the concept was discussed. Okay. So that's all about today's news today. Try to make the most of Visionized digital current affairs and wish you all the very best. Take care of yourself. The heat is actually very alarming. Okay.